this amazing night that we're going to have with Crayola, our friends from Crayola.
Thanks, Sam. I'm Marcia McInnes from ClassTag. I am a former teacher and I work full-time now with ClassTag. We are super excited about today's session, and I'm going to introduce our guest speaker in a second. Before we begin, just wanted to let you all know we would love to have you participate in the chat. We have 2 distance learning educates that we are giving away, generously donated by Crayola, and those will go randomly to 2 people in the chat who are participating away, and those will be given out by noon tomorrow. We love to know where you're from. We love to know what you teach. We would love to know what back to school is going to look like for you. If you're a parent or a student, we'd love to hear that information as well. Little fun fact about Crayola that I recently learned is the first crayon was developed in 1903 and now has built, of course, this amazing worldwide company. We have James Wells, who's going to introduce himself in a second. But a little bit more about ClassTag in case you're new to ClassTag. ClassTag is a free parent-teacher communication platform. It helps parents and teachers stay connected, whether it's remote learning, in-person learning, or a hybrid combination model of the 2. We also help teachers get free school supplies and are very excited to have this workshop series throughout the summer to help you in any way, support you, and help you prepare for back to school and all the craziness that that will bring. So James, if you can please take it away. We are so excited to have you.
Yes, thank you so much, Marcia and Sam, for having me in ClassTag. Hello, everyone out there in our social media world. My name is James Wells, and I serve as the Innovative Teaching and Learning Manager with Crayola. I, too, am a former school educator, as well as a district administrator for the arts. And so excited to share with you today some strategies around creativity and the bridge to social emotional learning. So thank you for joining us today. And I am thrilled that you're going to walk away with some tools to support your learners during this very unique time.
Absolutely. I mean, so important that we're talking about social emotional learning and resilience and self-awareness at a time like this. One last administrative piece. If you can, wherever you are, grab yourself a piece of paper, grab yourself a pencil and something to draw with. It could be pencil crayons or crayons. Thank you, Sam. We have a hands-on activity that you can do at home with your children or in the classroom, and James is going to share that with you as well as part of today's session. You will also have a chance to take a picture of that piece of art that you create and share it in the chat, and we'd love to see what you come up with. James, let's get rolling. Take it away. Let's make this fun, engaging, and useful. Let's go for it.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to get started here. If you'll give me a second. I'm going to get our PowerPoint going.
Just as that getting set up, I can see some really neat comments.
Okay, you'll probably need to drive our PowerPoint.
Not a problem. Guys, just give me 1 second. We'll get you set up, James.
Okay, thank you.
Just as Sam is getting the slides pulled up there, just wanted to highlight a few of the teachers that are joining us today. We got teachers from North California teaching grade 2 and 3. We've got Renee Ambrose, who's teaching deaf and hard of hearing in Wisconsin. Welcome. Pre-K teacher and a parent, so doing both things at once from North Carolina. And here is the slides. I am going to jump out and have James jump in.
Absolutely. So again, our session today will be creativity and social emotional learning. Again, there's a bridge that supports the 2 together. And, again, we're going to have a great time featuring these activities. So Sam, if you'll transition to our next slide, please.
Can you guys see it?
Sorry, Sam, I'm not.
That's okay. It's what is social emotional learning and why is it important?
So yes, social emotional learning. What is it and why is it important? So social emotional learning, as you know, is a skill that stays carried with us throughout our life, a lifelong process, and through the collaborative for social emotional muscle is what it's affectionately called. We dial up 5 key skills here. We have self-awareness, we have self-management, we have responsible decision making, we have social awareness, and relationship skills, right? So these are 5 key areas that we're going to focus on in this presentation that, again, is developed by the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. Now, why is this important? Everyone knows we are in the middle of a pandemic right now. And this pandemic, as you all know, has brought forth many emotions. Many parents are stressed, as well as students, right? Our lives have been turned upside down. And we're having to explain to young children something so small that can't be seen with the naked eye has completely flipped our world upside down. And through that, there, again, are a lot of emotions that are surfacing. And we want to make sure that we address these things because this is foundational to really connecting with students in a very intentional way during the time. So if we can transition to our next slide.
And can you tell us what is creativity?
Exactly. What is creativity? Creativity is something that is often used in our world, but society has hoodwinked us into thinking a certain way around creativity. So I lead a lot of trainings and workshops all across the world, or not the world, the US, on creativity. And one of the things that I often hear, and you may have said this before, those of you out in our social media land, creativity is how well you draw, right? A lot of people think that is a drawing skill, right? I'm not creative because I draw figures, right? You've probably heard that before. But Sam, I think that's an animated slide. So if you'll reveal the next area there, creativity actually is a mindset. It's a problem-solving tool, right? It's the ability to connect things that are seemingly unrelated ideas. It's coming up with new ideas, thinking outside the box, right? So you can be creative in planting a garden, right? You can be creative as educators. You're creative in solving behavioral problems, right? Classroom management, project plans. As parents, wow, we are creative right now in having to manage our kids being at home. You working, right? We're dealing with new coworkers is what my wife and I call our kids. There are new coworkers, right? So we're trying to manage their spaces, their time, as well as our time, right? So we're finding new ways to solve problems. And that is what creativity is. So now that we understand that, you can no longer use the phrase, I'm not creative because I only draw stick figures. It has nothing to do with your artistic skill set. All right. So understanding that, now we have to use our creative mind, which is how can we connect arts experiences, creativity to social emotional learning. And we're going to look at that now. So I think first we're going to start with social awareness. So Sam, if you'll move to that next slide.
We're good. Yeah.
All right, great. So, yes. So self-awareness is the first area that we want to talk about. And that is, identifying emotions, right? What makes us who we are? Why do we feel the way that we feel, right? So we want to address that. That's one key area. So Sam, if you'll move to the next slide, I'm going to reveal an activity. So everyone should be grabbing out now. This is a self-awareness activity. So if you remember at the start of this presentation, we stated that show up with your materials, your crayons, your colored pencils, markers, whatever you have available to you. And I want you to create a self-portrait that reveals your interests, right? Your fears, maybe, right? Going into this new unknown. What fears, what emotions do you have? What's something that's interesting about you that you not see on the outside? So if you're looking at the screen, you see a self-portrait that I've created. Right, this is a great self-awareness activity where on the right side of the screen, you see a picture of me, right, the outer picture of me. And then on the left side, you see these words that describe who I am. those words that you see inside of there are not easily seen if you're just looking at my outer self, right? So this is me becoming more self-aware of who I am, right? So you see here, you're creating your true selfie. Uh-oh, it's moving forward.
Sorry about that, guys.
Okay.
It got a little out of order. I apologize.
No, totally fine. So again, you're grabbing your materials, and what I would like for you to do during this part of the presentation is, as you draw, and you can do this during our session today, or maybe later, possibly before noon tomorrow, right? As Marcia stated, you want to be in the running for your kits here. If you could do that for me and use the hashtag True Selfies, tag Crayola, tag ClassTag in this piece here. Because what we're doing, Crayola is doing a True Selfies campaign right now, centered around our newest product called Colors of the World, right? Where it's a pack of crayons centered around 32 colors that's all various skin tones from around the world. So again, try this self-awareness activity out for me, if you will. All right, so if we can move to the next slide.
And one quick shout out for James. If you have a chance, it's on the Crayola site, and I did not know that, James, you were the artist. So I feel like we're in great company here.
Oh,
and I got my paper and pen ready to go.
Awesome. All right, so self-management here. So in this particular area of social emotional learning, we're trying to understand what makes us, when we have these certain emotions and feelings, how can we manage those? How can we manage those stressors, right? That's a real life skill, right? As adults, you may have, thinking about us educators, we have to manage the potential of either virtual learning, hybrid learning, or in-person learning, thinking about this current pandemic that we're in. So we have to manage all of these stressors because guess what? We have kids and families that's going to be coming into these buildings here. And we want to make sure that we are emotionally in a place where we can make the environment conducive for them, right? So they're not feeling these stressors, right? These emotions that we're feeling. So how can we manage, self-manage ourselves here? So again, these are real life skills. So if you move to the next page there, Sam. All right, so here you see two activities that I want to feature. So if you remember self-awareness, we featured the self-portrait that we would like for you to draw your true selfie, right, with your materials. Here's another activity. We know that meditation is a skill that you can, or is an activity that you can do to help manage stress. To the left on your screen here, you see an insect line drawing. During this time, I went outside. Our kids, we went outside and we followed the path of an ant, right? So if you want to pull in some science, some history, migration from one part of the yard to the other, maybe they were carrying food. Like what are these ants doing? So, in this particular exercise, we relieved stress, right? Because it was a very tense moment. We're trying to manage technology and teacher on the screen and we're working. So here's a great way to pull in a nice, relaxing exercise. Let's follow the path of an insect, or maybe you do a contour drawing of a flower, right? To understand the form of the flower, the shapes of the flower, right? So that's what you can do on the left. So again, you're managing those emotions, right? Here's another self-management activity. So part of self-management is goal setting, right? Creating proper plans. So you see here on the screen, this young artist, both of them, one drew a picture of themselves in the future, right? So I have an aspiration to be a police officer, right? So what steps do a police officer take to becoming that person, right, in that profession? So maybe you're drawing yourself as your future self, or in the other image, you see a student drawing themselves as this future Olympic track star, right? So goal setting, so they can draw the image and then begin to write out the various things they can do to accomplish those goals. Two different activities, both supporting a life skill, which is called self-management. All right?
Just want to encourage you all to get your photos in the chat. I know it can take some time, but I got, unfortunately, quite a few ants right now in my kitchen, so I can make a great drawing later.
Awesome. And I'm seeing here someone's asking about the crayons in the chat, so I want to make sure I mention. So these are colors of the world. This is our newest product line. It just arrived to Walmart this month. So, and we also have multicultural crayons, but I don't want to confuse the two. Colors of the World is our newest one that was just released, and right now it's exclusively at Walmart. So if you're looking everywhere else, you're not going to find it. Look online or at Walmart in your local area. So just want to make sure I mention that. All right, so social awareness. So with social awareness, what we're doing in this particular area here, we are respecting diversity of others. We're understanding, and our kids are understanding that there are people that live in this world that look different, right? That act differently. So we're building empathy, right? We're understanding that, again, the world is a lot bigger than our single-minded point of view here. So we want to make sure that we work on this skill because, again, this is something that our kids, when they leave us, they're going to be using this skill in their entire life. Right? For their entire life. So social awareness. Now I have some activities that's going to help to support this that we've done here at Crayola. Have we transitioned yet? Okay, awesome. So with this one here, Crayola launched a campaign that's currently going. It's called Say It Colorfully. All right. And this Say It Colorfully campaign was started in response to our essential workers, those who are on the front lines. Teachers, right? So thinking about those people that are, we're in the midst of a pandemic. And we want to make sure that our content, our lessons that we're preparing for students is real and relevant, right? We don't just want to give them just busy work just because, right? We want this to be meaningful and thoughtful. So with this particular social awareness piece, you see many examples, particularly around sidewalk examples, where we are acknowledging those who are putting their lives on the line in many cases, right? To support us, right? To make sure that the world is continuing, right? So we have, highlighted here our nurses, right? Teachers, educators. Oh my gosh, you talk about front of the line workers. You are working so hard to prepare for our students in the coming year, right? And many of you are, you have families and kids at home, and you're going to be balancing that while also instructing other kids. So you're doing a lot here. And I think for our kids to really think about that, right? That, yes, we are in the pandemic, but also understanding like homelessness. We all understand that is impacting a lot of families. A lot of districts are working with homeless shelters to ensure that their kids have proper access to food and technology and lessons, right? So having kids illustrate, show gratitude, right? Be thankful for others. So this is a great way, again, to pull in social awareness here. And again, you see many examples of what others have done to acknowledge those who are working on behalf of us and doing a lot on the front lines here. So social awareness is the skill. All right, so our next slide. All right, so our next one here should be around relationship skills. So we all know we have to work with each other. Partnerships move at the speed of trust. If we don't trust people, our partnerships won't go anywhere. We won't get anything accomplished, right? So we have to work with others. And again, this is a life skill, even in this virtual space. I want to highly encourage you to leverage the tools and resources that you have. There are many platforms that allow for kids to work in chat rooms and breakout sessions, right? Where you can encourage collaboration even in this virtual space. But even for those of you who may be going in school, right? Creating those opportunities for students to at least have some sort of collaborative discussions and dialogue is going to be key in building a skill that, again, is a life skill. All right, so if we can move to this activity here. So what you're seeing here on your screen is a protocol that we've created at Crayola. It's a tool. It's called Seek, SEEK, right? And now by definition, Seek means we're asking questions to understand what's happening in a particular piece here, right? So we're searching for meaning. We're asking to understand. So this is a visual art decoding protocol that we created here at Crayola, and we would love for any and everybody to use. So we start with, what do you see? That is observation, right? Evidence. Why do you say that? What is the evidence here in the piece? So that is citing evidence. Notice these are key ELA pillars here, English language arts, right? Explain, what decisions did the artist make and why? That's inference, right? We're inferring artist's intent. Why did the artist make these decisions here? And then lastly, know. What do you know? What else do you want to know? That's inquiry, right? So these are 4 keys. This is an evidence, observation, inference, inquiry-based tool. Very simple, and it sticks. Seek. We all seek out things, right? But we're using this tool here to seek out. So with relationship skills, we can have students look at works of art that infer relationships. So what do we notice here? What are we seeing here? We're seeing this young man reaching out to grab something from this young lady's hand, right? Now, we can look at some evidence and infer that this is a pretty interesting relationship. He has a library truck where he's trying to help out others who don't have books. So he's trying to provide access to books in communities that don't have them, right? This is a real thing. So pulling pieces that's real and relevant, even to today's culture and climate, is pretty essential, right? And we can use works of art and seek to help decode and have conversations around relationships and why people can, what we just covered, social awareness. We're thinking about others before ourselves. So we're building social awareness skills and relationship skills by decoding art, right? So you multiple things, right? ELA and SEL all in one piece here. So again, use this seek tool here. I highly encourage you to use that. And it's available to you. Please use it. We would love for you to, and love to hear how you're using your buildings. All right.
And for those of you that are not ELA teachers, I'm a social studies teachers, that's like the best, like decoding is, I mean, that's just powerful, even in social studies and understanding concepts. I mean, that's great. I love it.
And actually, Sam, if you go back, just want to make sure I highlight this here with Seek. This is a tool that can be used to decode not just works of art, which in the piece you saw, this is a work of art that was created by a student. So you can decode picture books, right? Young learners, I saw a pre-K teacher 3 to 5. Before our kids develop their vocabulary, written words, or understand written words, they're able to decode visuals. That's how we are developed. This is the human progression of understanding language. We understand and decode pictures first. So this is the proper way to teach kids, language understanding, right? Is by putting visuals in front of them. So this is a great tool that can be used for that. And then you can turn it and use the same tool in informational text. What do you see here in this writing? What evidence did the writer put here, right? So you can use this tool in many ways to support many things. So not just a visual tool, but also a literary decoding device as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, our last one. I've been so excited.
I know. I love
share
that
stuff here.
stuff. You're like right down my alley here.
So our last one here is it responsible decision making? Yes, responsible decision making. So again, we know that this is a very important skill here because there are a lot of decisions that we make as adults and kids make, right? In terms of their social circles. Are these appropriate people to align myself with? Should I be completing my homework right now? I'm at home, I'm doing work virtually. Oh gosh, there's so many things that's competing for my attention here. So what's the responsible decision that I have to make? So this is, again, a life skill that we want to make sure that we embed in our young learners here. So if we transition to the next slide, that'll help us work on this responsible decision-making skill. You see another image here of a young girl that's sitting in front of a computer screen, right? And using this Seek protocol. Now, we're not going to go through this again, but I just want to, again, emphasize how you can use Seek to understand behaviors and helping students to make responsible decisions here. This particular piece is around cyberbullying, right? If you get really close to the screen, which is maybe hard for our viewing audience to see, but there's some information here that's that the student, this was done by a sixth grader here, our young artist, Madison. And one of the things that we notice here is on the screen, it says, she's asking, can she go to the party? And the person on the other side of the screen is saying, you can go if you don't wear that ugly outfit, right? And that's something that's so real that our students face even today, right? And as we think about digital citizenship, again, bringing in stuff that's real and relevant, what sort of responsible decisions are you going to be making even while you're behind the computer screen, right? How we interact and talk to each other. So putting up works of art to discuss this, what do we see? We see a girl that is sad. What evidence do we see? We see tears from her eyes. We see in her hair words that says ashamed and frustrated, right? And she feels alone. So we see this evidence and explain, what did the artist do? The artist wrote words in her hair. The artist did not put pupils in her eyes. So we don't know if she's looking at us for help or if she's looking at the screen here, right? So there's so much to decode from this piece, to have rich conversations, again, around responsible decision-making. As students, they're prepared for this. As educators, we have to be prepared to have these conversations. And putting works of art in front of them is a great springboard to having these very real, relevant, and highly needed, highly effective conversations. All right, so if we can go to the next one here.
James, just jumping in for a quick second, an activity I used to do with my students and share with other teachers is I go to thrift stores, find old photographs that were really interesting, and I would put them in a box, and it would become an activity, that would match perfectly what you're sharing with us today.
Great. Yes, I think that, those are great examples here. Notice even in this presentation, it was very intentional. These were all works of art created by students. Of course, the selfie by me was by me, but the others were by students. And that's intentional because students have a lot to say, and their voice is often undervalued. And we want to celebrate their voice and their ideas, right? So thank you so much for bringing that example in, Marcia, because there's so much. I think this is a great example for all of us to know. There's so many visual resources that's out there, right? So if you don't have the student work, you can go and get photographs. We have magazines and thrift stores, all sorts of places where we can pull in visual resources to support our students with conversations like this here. All right, so what you see here on your screen is our at-home learning page. And I would love for you to take down this link here, createed.crayola.com. In this page, you're going to find tools and resources beyond your wildest dreams, right? We have 1,700 arts integrated plans to support at-home learning. We have resources for parents. We have free videos around social emotional learning that can support this arts infused approach to supporting these topics at home that we need to have. We have to have with our students, especially today, to support this. So again, I want to make sure I highlight this page. Please go here to access the resources that we have available to you. And then if you go to our next page, the activity that was featured today here around our true selfies, and the illustration, hand-drawn selfies here. This kit that you're seeing here that Marcia stated at the beginning of our presentation we'll be giving away, these are at-home learning kits. And these kits come with videos in English and in Spanish to support our at-home learning, as well as materials inside, a parent guide, again, drawing materials to support that. So want to make sure that you all know that these resources are available to you. And we're so excited to share this with our viewing audience, our winners here that's interested in this. And then notice we have a link here for those of you that's interested in possibly purchasing these to support your at-home or school curriculum learning experience. And that's all I have today. Excited to answer any questions or engage in any dialogue beyond this. But thank you so much. So excited to be here.
Yeah, we had a lot of engagement, a lot of feedback on a lot of us excitement around Seek, which I was so glad you got to expand on that. Your colleague is doing great, keeping up with questions, and we got them all, I think. But guys, if you want to take this opportunity to drop any pictures you've made in the comments, we'd love to see those.
Yeah.
And just a friendly reminder that you are that kit that we just showed, and I'll show it again. That's what's up, right? That's what we have 2 of those that we're giving away.
Yes, that's the kit. And just so you know, the kit again comes with videos in English and in Spanish. There are 3 activities that's featured in this kit. This one is particularly around understanding self and others, right? So again, those social emotional skills that we want to definitely support in our young learners here. So you see this, you see a Seek frame that comes inside of the kit as well, with that protocol that we just discussed. And again, tons of materials that supports this at-home learning experience. So both ELA, right, this is a writing art-inspired stories kit, as well as those social emotional skills that's very relevant right now, considering the state that we're in with our pandemic, both with the virus and this social unrest that we're seeing all across our country.
Right, awesome. And we had a question. This webinar, you can call them a webinar, but this live session, yes, is on YouTube as well. So if you missed part of it, you guys can always watch it again. Just give it a few minutes. It resets, and you can watch it at leisure and draw and have a great time with us. We do have a quick question for you, James. Do you guys have any more things in Spanish on your page for elementary school?
So on our current page, we don't have things written in Spanish. With this particular kit here, though, we have this is a writing kit. We have a math kit as well and a STEAM kit. And these kits come in grade bands. We have pre-K 2, 3, 5, and 6, 8. And the videos in all of these kits, which culminates to 27 videos total that comes in both English and in Spanish.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Videos for teaching. That's a win-win.
Yes.
And we do have and guys, I can see you guys are still commenting. There's no questions, but some great ideas on how to manage stress, creativity, and it's just been awesome. And yes, you can they hashtag the hashtag TrueLight or True Selfie here, or would you like them to do it on Instagram?
You can do it here, Instagram, totally fine. Yes, we would love for you to do it in both. It would be great.
Awesome. Thanks so much, James. Just wanted to add to all of that. I learned lots of new art activities. I took lots of notes, and wanted to also share with the teachers out there who are using ClassTag, any of the resources that James has shared. A great spot to save them so that your parents can get access to them as well is on that new top bar within ClassTag called Quick Links. You can save, your favorite 5 resources there, so your families can access those easily. And we've got the link to that Crayola resource in the chat. We also wanted to just point out that we are one of the fortunate folks that do have some of the multicultural crayons left, and they are stashed away on our school supplies list. So if you are a parent buying your school supplies through ClassTag, in addition to Walmart, we do have a few of those still available from ClassTag. It was a true honor to have you here today, James. Sam, I know both of us were so excited about this session, and we will, like Sam said, we're going to have this recorded. We will share this out. So if you missed the session or you had to run, there's a way to share with your friends and all of that, and that will be within the ClassTag page, and I believe also the Created Ed Crayola page where this will be available. Awesome. Thanks so much, everyone. I really hope you have an amazing school year, and we truly wish you the best.
Thank you, everyone.
Guys. Have a good one.
Year.